Alright, so this is going to be me explaining how to balance your tank. Now I'm not going to be telling you, yeah, you need to put this and this and this in your tank, because it doesn't work like that. So as you can see, this fish tank is my large community tank. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 10, 20 different species. So this tank is perfectly balanced because the fish are pooping enough, it's giving the plants enough nutrients, plants are growing enough to keep the water clean, the algae is going down. I have snails to clean up after everyone, all the leftover fish food, so I don't have to worry about overfeeding and such. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I have full spectrum lighting to keep the plants going, so no matter what, the plants will always be giving proper nutrients. I got lots of pieces of driftwood in there to release tannins. I have cola wood, that's more just for fun at this point. And yeah, I have absolute ton of types of plants, and I have tons of types of critters that eat the algae on the plants as well as the plants. So right off the bat, this tank is literally taken care of by itself. The fish poo, the plants clean it up, they grow, and they give a healthier environment. That right off the bat is my most recommended thing to do for a fish tank, is to have it planted. As you can see, the fish absolutely love the plants. They have unlimited food in there. I feed them every day with meat, but as you can tell, they don't need vegetation. I'll throw some bell peppers in there every now and again, but that's about it. Make sure your water, at first when you're starting up a tank, you want to test your water very commonly. Once every couple days, honestly. You want to check that all the things inside your tank, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, all that stuff is on proper levels. And then you want to start adding things to your tank. So water's clean, you can get the gravel in there. I highly recommend actual gravel. Like you can see, this is just rocks and stuff. Now I'm not the biggest fan of how it looks, and I will be switching over once this tank is moved to its new location, but it does have the best filtration for the water. My stuff has sand underneath the gravel. So this is all sand here. And what that does, it doesn't allow all the gunk and stuff to actually go through the rocks farther past this point. So all here is just sand. And so there's nothing gonna be down there, no gross stuff or whatever, which is great, because it's all in here in the gravel. Which is why I have, let's see if I can spot any of them. But these guys are my heroes. This right here, Malaysian trumpet snail. Now what these guys do is they burrow themselves. So they'll dig and dig. As you can see, he actually has a rock over top of him. That little white rock is over top of him. It's because he's trying to bury himself during the day. That's what they do. And at night, they come up and all that. And when they come up at night and when they dig into the ground to go to sleep, they knock a bunch of silt out and all the stuff in between the rocks. It's absolutely perfect. Here, you can see another one buried there. Just the tip of his shell is shown. But, yeah. So, this remains clean with the snails and the sand underneath to make sure none of this gross stuff actually gets through. That allows the plants to grow both fast and slow. The sand will pretty much stop the roots from growing super, super deep and make it super difficult to get the plants out once they have to be moved or replanted or anything like that. They grow much, much slower. Considering I have CO2, it's kind of against the point. It's like you kind of want your plants to grow faster if you get CO2, but at the same time, mine are just overboard, and I more want them to be healthy plants rather than growing fast. I'm not looking to really sell the plants. I'm looking for the fish to have a perfect environment with the plants. So, yeah, the sand underneath has a couple different factors, and then the gravel on top holds 90% of the nutrients, like the fish poop and leftover food. The next thing is the amount of fish. A lot of people I've seen in fish stores, granted there'll be little kids or parents that have no clue what they're doing. They'll get a tank, I don't know, half this size, maybe the size of Dot's enclosure here, 30 gallons, and they'll put like 60 goldfish in it. Now that blows my mind, because goldfish poop a lot, eat a lot, and they need a lot. So when you have 60 goldfish, you need like 150 gallons. So I highly don't recommend having a large amount of fish in a small tank. This is an 80-gallon tank, and technically overcrowded because of the rule that Google made up that everyone follows for no reason. That you can have 1 fish per gallon or something stupid like that. Yeah, don't listen to that rule. I highly disagree with that. Maybe if your fish tank had no gravel on the bottom, no plants, no decorations, and you had like a flower horn cichlid, a big guy, and then you had, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend anything with a flower horn, but still, anyway, you get the point. Don't overcrowd your tank, but also make sure that your tank won't have too less of an animal. You don't want a huge tank like this with 2 angelfish. That's not going to work. All the plants won't get enough nutrients and they'll die unless I buy a bunch of stuff. Chemicals and fertilizers, which I'm not willing to do because, I mean, it looks fine. So, another thing with the fish is the tank mates themselves. So if you have tank mates that get along, tetras and mollies that hang out with each other, rarely chase, and if they do, it's not actually them chasing each other, it's more like, hey, get the heck out of my face. Like this blue tetra here, he just does not like people, and that's his zone, so he chases people out of his zone, and that's all it is. That's my most aggressive tank mate, and all the other blue tetras don't even do that, so it's literally just him specifically. So you want to make sure all your tank mates will at least get along. Even that's a little too aggressive for me, but I mean, he's not hurting anyone, so I'm fine with it. If you can put mollies in there and they survive as baby mollies and they grow up and they're getting going and stuff, I don't think you have anything to worry about hurting stuff in this fish tank. I mean, my main concern is the ruby barbs when they pick the snails off the glass and the plants and stuff, because I like the snails, but that's about it. That's my only problem in this fish tank. So yeah, balance. Big thing with balance is the amount of fish, amount of plants, and your substrate. Alright? Most basic things. Usually the water is super simple. Once you have water in your fish tank, you wait a while for it to cycle. I put some, if I have a full fish tank full of water, nothing in it, absolutely bare, I'll take some flake food and I'll just sprinkle it around so it goes everywhere. I'll have a filter going and whatnot with some media in it that was already used from another fish tank. Have it spray around the tank for a little while, you know, like have it filled with water and have the filter going for a little while, and after that all your beneficial bacteria will be in the water. And a tank this size took me a week and it was fully cycled, and I didn't have any media, I didn't have anything from a pre-built tank whatsoever, and it only took me about a week, so it was not bad. Patience is definitely my #1 recommended thing to have during fish keeping, as it's kind of important. So yeah, make sure you study your fish. I go based off their natural environment. So, I mean, this is not a natural environment for some of these fish. Like for example, the Otocinclus catfish, that little guy, you'd find him in, I think, rivers. I don't want to guarantee it. Might be something else. Anyway, yeah, you get the point. You get enough plants in there. Now you don't need to cover the whole bottom. As you can see, it's mostly open on the bottom. Now my snails can all crawl around. The fish can go down and pick off stuff off the ground. They got more than enough room to be jerks. Yeah. Just pretty much make sure all your fish are happy. Give them everything they need and more. That's it. That's all. If you can't figure out how to balance your tank perfectly, add some plants. If that doesn't work, maybe add some snails. If that doesn't work, test your water. If your water's off, search up some ways to fix it. Like if the ammonia is too high, you would definitely want to do like a 50% water change. I've had my ammonia, it was either yellow or green, and it scared the hell out of me, but it's just because a fish passed away in here. So it's really simple sometimes. It's like, yeah, there's a good amount of ammonia in the tank, but it's a 2-second fix. So you want to check your tank quick, look around. I have a lot of decorations and snails and stuff, so if a fish passes away in here, they last overnight and then their whole body is gone. which I highly recommend because, as I said before, it can spike your ammonia and harm your fish. So, yeah. I hope this was helpful to some people, and if you have any questions, please comment, and I'll answer as soon as I can.